you know, with, of course, the patients who are experiencing sleep apnea, they sleep in separate rooms because they can't have it.
Yes.
And mostly it's women.
Yes, yes. So snoring is two problems. It's a social problem and it's a medical problem. So socially, what does that mean? That it affects the bed partner. So you find that it can, so you're sleeping in the same bed, this guy is snoring, he's keeping you up at night, and you have a busy day the following morning, you're a CEO, you're high flying, you're an executive, you have a job, you have a business that you're running, you're like, I can't get any sleep. So that's a social issue. And it can get as bad as having what we call a sleep divorce, where you're both sleeping in separate bedrooms, okay? If you remember...
I like the way you have terminologies for all this. I just terminologies for everything.
Yeah,
like,
if you remember, our grandfathers used to have their own hut, their own thigira, and then the women used to sleep in different bedrooms. So maybe that's why it was not a big problem then. But now people are sleeping in the same bed, so it's an issue. You can have a sleep divorce. I've gotten patients who said when they do long-haul flights, they can't even sleep because of the embarrassment. They think, if I sleep and I snore, all these people in the flight are going to hear me. You have a long-haul, a long layover, and in the airport you want to take a snooze, and you're embarrassed.
So this thing has a real stigma.
Yeah, it has, yes, because who wants to be known as that? You go for a party and you want to take a snooze in the couch. You can't, you know. So that's a social issue.
That is interesting.
Yes.
But my concern is because of how dangerous also sleep apnea can be, and the restriction of, you know, breath and all that. If your partner is not there, you know, to maybe nudge you to wake up, and it's a life and death thing, and you can't breathe. I mean,
so what happens,
how do you look at that?
Yeah. So actually, what your brain will do, it will not allow you to pass on. It will not. Your brain has a self-preserving mechanism, and that is to wake up. It's called an arousal. And that can happen many times at night. And that's the issue. So you're having micro-arousals, and you don't know about it. So you'll find that actually patients say, I'm waking up at night frequently. Some patients even think that, hey, I'm actually just waking up because I want to go pee, or I want to go get a cup of water, but it's your sleep apnea.
And you just think it's normal.
And you think it's normal that you're waking up 4 to 5 times in a night.
Wow,
Yeah.
we have feedback, you know, Dr. Ian, and someone is saying that they have, you know, they snore all the time, and they really need, you know, to get out of it. You know, it's right there on, you know, at the bottom of our screens, and it's interesting. You know, this is actually a concern because I don't think most people, like we said earlier, think it's something serious.
Yes, most people think it's just a social issue, and then there's a medical bit. So they come to us and they ask, Doc, what can I do? And we give them 3 options. The first option is lifestyle. You know, sleep on your side. You know, that helps. Usually most people snore when they sleep on their back. So sleep on your side. Lose weight. We ask 10% weight loss. And also engage in sleep hygiene mechanisms as well. We can talk about sleep hygiene later. And also, if you have allergies, sort out your allergies. You have nose congestion, sort that out, stuff like that.
So that's what Stephanie Nguhi, because that's the person who asked the question. It's Stephanie Nguhi. We hear you. You know, is that what you can do?
Yes. So those are things that you can do. You know, that's called conservative treatment. Okay? Things that you can do. The second thing that can be done are medical devices. Okay. So that is something called CPAP. CPAP it's a machine connected to your nose and mouth through a pipe that blows in air under pressure. Remember what I said? It's collapse of your throat tissues. So what does this CPAP do? It keeps your airway open at night. So therefore, these issues go away. That's a gold standard. Okay? So
you have to keep it on at night all the time?
Yes,
Isn't that uncomfortable?
At the beginning, patients get a bit uncomfortable, so we try and room in the sleep apnea mask. so that they can get used to it. So usually you get 2 or 3 days to get used to it, and then you can actually, and you see it a lot in TV and movies.
Yeah.
And then there's some dental devices that you can wear as well. And I'd like to encourage our, if there are any dentists watching this, to get into dental sleep medicine. Remember what I said, it's collapse of your throat tissues?
Yeah.
So sometimes they can create some devices that can push your jaw forward so that there's not much collapse into your airway.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of dental sleep dentists who specialize in sleep medicine, so like encourage all of them. And then the third option is surgery. So that's why me as an ENT surgeon, I deal with sleep apnea. And what we do is, if you think of your throat as a room with too much furniture, I come in, remove the furniture and tighten things up so that we can create a nice airway and prevent the vibrations that cause snoring.
That is so interesting,
It's
man.
fascinating,
So
yes.
we really cannot ignore, environment. But before we continue on to appreciate our viewers, we have Peter from Mombasa.
Yes.
And that is it Mombasa Majoni someone? Mombasa, yes, thank you. And then there's Kamau Msanangu watching us from Gatundu South. We appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Keep them coming. We'll be, of course, the doctor will be able to answer as much as he can,
yes.
with the time that we have.
Yes.
But so far, I love that you're appreciating the conversation because it's a real thing.
It is. And the thing that I forgot to say as well is when you look at conservative, we also tell patients to stop smoking. When you think about sleep hygiene are things that you can do just to help your sleep. And one of the things is reduce stimulants at night. That is coffee, nicotine, and alcohol. And what alcohol specifically does is that it collapses it more. So bed partners complain that the people are snoring more on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Sorry.
Yes, but alcohol does that. So that's one thing about sleep hygiene,
Yeah.
Others, of course, include having a good environment in your bedroom, keeping to a good bedtime, waking up on time, what do you call it? And just general health to increase your sleep quality.
But doctor, before we go even further, let's go back to, the stimulants. Alcohol, people will take it and say it helps them sleep. So please clear that out. Does it help you sleep or does it make it worse?
So what happens with what happens to alcohol is that it affects the architecture of sleep. Okay, so remember what I said is that you have certain stages of sleep where you go into light sleep, then deep sleep, then REM sleep, and then back again throughout the night. What alcohol does is that it reduces the time, what we call sleep latency. It reduces the time between wake and sleep. So when you take a drink, you feel like you sleep faster. So that's what people take it for. But what alcohol does is that it affects REM sleep.
I see.
The sleep that is restorative, the one that actually gives you the, what do you call it? The one that restores your health, your mental health, your physical health, your physiology. So that's what alcohol affects. That REM sleep, yes.
That is so interesting.
But it reduces your sleep latency. Yeah. So you actually get to sleep faster.
It's such a contradiction,
yes,
and also a very, key thing that most people experience. So I mean that clarity is so important.
Yes.
But just to remind our viewers of the question of the day, we are asking, how annoying is snoring, and did you know it might be a sleeping disorder? How annoying is snoring, and did you know it might be a sleeping disorder? Of course, get us on our social media handles at K24 TV. That is Facebook, on X at K24 TV, and of course our WhatsApp number right there on your screens. So far, we are loving your feedback. We are, of course, I'm doing my best to read all of them as much as I can. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in from Mombasa, from Gatundu North, Tuko Pamoja. Asante sana. And of course, I'm seeing another one right now, of course, of one of our viewers. No, no, that's different. That is different. No, I will read it when it comes back. Yeah, I'll read it when it comes back. But so far, let's go on with the conversation. I think I need you, doctor, to define for us REM sleep. Just give it its proper perspective, because we can, you and I may know, but just for the clarity for our audience, what is REM sleep and why is it so important?
Okay. So, light sleep, then deep sleep, then REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. So what happens is that when you go into REM sleep, your eyes are actually moving. Of course, your eyes are closed, but your eyeballs are moving. That's why we call it rapid eye movement. When you attach all the gadgets, you can actually see your eyeballs moving. Your brain is almost awake, because, as I said, it's like that's a part of sleep that you're dreaming. So there's a lot of brain activity. So when we attach the brain monitors, we can see a lot of activity. But your muscles are not moving, okay? Of course, your heart is pumping and your diaphragm is moving up and down to allow you to breathe. But the rest of your muscles are not moving, and for good reason. Otherwise, you'd be reenacting your dreams. Now, what we think the benefit of light sleep is to transition between wake and deep sleep. The benefit of deep sleep is actually to restore our health. What we think the benefit of REM sleep is to allow our brain to reenact scenarios in a safe environment. Remember, if you have stress, you're thinking about your job, you're thinking about your children, your family, you're thinking about your business, you can actually simulate that in dream state and look for different solutions, okay? But remember, it's not conscious, it's subconscious.
Not unconscious,
it's
subconscious.
Yes,
All right,
yeah.
got you. But before you continue, doctor, we have a question from one of our viewers. At Braxocom is asking, hello, is sleep apnea associated with bruxism?
Yes, we
is?
do see patients with sleep apnea having bruxism. So bruxism is where you grind your teeth. The people who grind their teeth
that's
during...
that is what it's... All right,
yeah,
got
so
you.
the people who grind their teeth during the day and others grind the teeth at night. And most patients are now... Usually they go to the dentist first. So the dentist says, you have bruxism. A lot of patients with bruxism, the reason is stress.
Right.
Most of it is stress related. But a small proportion of it occurs because of sleep apnea. So the dentist usually now sorts that out. And then they refer us if they think that the dentist will ask, do you snore or not? If the answer is yes, do you feel tired, have excessive daytime sleepiness, then refer you to us guys at the sleep center.
That is interesting, because I remember reading a particular aspect of sleep apnea, and they said the skull structure is also connected, to you having, sleep apnea.
Yes. So, God is amazing, because to allow us speech, our larynx had to drop. So we have a very low voice box. Our voice box is much lower. In children, the voice box is much higher, okay? That's why they can suck on the teeth and breathe at the same time. When you grow up, you can't do that. You either breathe or you eat, okay? So that has gone lower. Then the structures, your jaw, your upper jaw and your lower jaw, if they're too small, then remember what I said, your throat is like a room with a lot of furniture?
Yes.
Now think about a smaller room. Now your jaw contains your tongue and all these muscles.
Yeah.
So if it's too small, then it's easier for everything to collapse at night, okay? And so what are dentists seeing? Dentists are seeing a lot of, they're removing a lot of molars because the jaws are too small. What are they doing? They're putting in a lot of braces. okay? Because our jaws are becoming smaller and smaller. We don't know why. Of course, there are certain hypotheses and all that, but we don't know why our jaws are becoming smaller.
Right.
So if you have a small jaw and your mouth tissues are collapsing, then it's much easier to get obstructive sleep apnea.
Interesting.
Yes.
And we have another question from our viewers, and this is Derek Asonga, and he's asking, hello, Derek Asonga from Sewa City, Nakuru. There is this norm that snoring majorly is saliva blocking the air holes. How true is this?
Okay, so snoring is vibration of your throat tissues, okay? And together now with the collapse. What does your body do? It's irritated, it'll produce saliva. You know, because it's getting irritated, and the mucosa, the inner lining of your mouth, doesn't have many ways of what do you call it, of protecting itself. So it does produce saliva. So it's not saliva that is blocking it; it's your throat tissues that are collapsing, and then hyperproduction of saliva.
Interesting.
Yes,
that is
yes,
so
yeah.
interesting. Like there's so many things which are, you know, like tiny details that are connected to the larger aspect that is sleep apnea. But you told me something very interesting, you know, during the break. And what did you call it?
Oh, parasomnias.
Parasomnias, yes. Please speak about that.
So when you think about, there are many types of sleep disorders. So as an ENT surgeon, my work is to usually deal with obstructive sleep apneas. But now there are other types of sleep disorders. You have parasomnias, that is bizarre activity when you're asleep. So that is sleep talking, sleepwalking, sleep eating. Everyone is always worried, can I sleep talk my secrets? No, you can't. It's usually mambo jumbo.
Really?
So, yeah, it's usually mambo jumbo.
Okay,
yes,
okay. Let me ask you this. Is the nerve that is connected to those people who do like the stimulants and the other narcotics and stuff like that, when they're able to be hyperactive more than usual, and then it somehow looks like something you wouldn't do in your right mind, but also you would do when you're quote unquote asleep. You know, so is there a connection?
No, that one, they're totally different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those ones are totally different. Yes, yes.
How is that?
The stimulants, unfortunately, affect your sleep because they're stimulants. When you sleep, a lot of your body calms down.
Okay.
Your temperature goes down, your breathing patterns go down as well. You tend to breathe a bit slower, your heart rate goes down, your metabolism also goes down. So that's why stimulants are now totally in contradiction with sleeping. So that's why they affect, okay? Yeah, but it won't make you like talk in your sleep or something like that, yes.
That is so interesting.
Yes, yeah, so there are sleep apneas, parasomnias, that's what we're talking about. What we call circadian rhythm disorders. So
that is so interesting to
so
hear.
why we sleep is when you wake up, there's a molecule called adenosine that builds up throughout the day. And when it gets a lot, you start feeling sleepy. And so that's the first molecule, adenosine, because it builds up throughout the day. The second molecule is melatonin. And what melatonin does is when the sun sets, melatonin starts being produced inside your brain by a gland called the pineal gland, and it starts being produced. And then that now starts getting your body prepared for sleeping. So you have adenosine building up, and then when the sun sets, and you don't get any sunlight into your eyes anymore, melatonin now. Our body is fascinating, yes. So that's why you sleep at night.
Yeah.
So melatonin builds up, and then now you fall asleep. And then when you fall asleep, adenosine, the molecule now drops, and now you wake up.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
So the people who have the opposite, because you do not get enough sleep at night, you get sleepy very much during the day.
Yes.
How does those work in reverse?
So actually that mechanism affects what we call shift workers.
Yeah.
And then of course excessive
Yes, of course, shift workers. Yeah.
So shift workers, that is security sector, medical sector, industrial people, you know.
How do you guys do it?
You take naps.
In between, of course.
You take naps, yes, you take naps, and it helps a lot, yes. And then, of course, to answer your question, if you don't get enough sleep during the night, your body will make you fall asleep during the day. And that is now what is called excessive daytime sleepiness.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will fall asleep during the day. You might feel you'll take a nap, 5 minutes. Some people take power naps, some people a bit longer than that. Yes, but you will feel a bit sleepy during the day. Yeah.
I hear you. So before, of course, we're almost winding up, but we have more questions coming in. We have Josh Boamu, who is asking, please, where is this clinic located? I'm really interested in this great information, and I'm looking for treatment. What would you tell Josh Boamu? Okay,
so we have the Sleep Diagnostic and Treatment Center. It's along Gatondo Road in Kileleshwa.
Right.
And I can give you the telephone office phone number. That's 0780 537 851. Okay. So let me repeat that. That's 0780 537 851. That's okay. And if you Google us, Sleep Diagnostic Center, you'll be able to find us.
Okay, I hope, Josh, you're able to get, some help there and get checked, just in case it is sleep apnea, what we're discussing right here today. I mean, you told me something very interesting and very curious about, the levels of sleep, up to the sleep and then the unconscious.
Yes.
And then death, right? So how critical can undiagnosed sleep apnea or obstructive sleep apnea be in this matter?
So undiagnosed sleep apnea, or even worse, untreated sleep apnea. The reason we get worried about it is that it makes a lot of other conditions much more difficult to treat. It makes your hypertensive patient difficult to treat. Because remember what I said, reduced oxygen, increased carbon dioxide, microarousals. It makes your patient with cardiac problems, your heart failure patient, you have AFibs and all that stuff, more difficult to treat. It makes your patient with depression and mental health issues, depression, anxiety.
Because all that comes in.
Because it comes in, because you're having microarousals at night, and then depression by itself is diagnosed by reduced fatigue, increased fatigue, reduced energy, you don't have the will to live, anxiety as well, and brain conditions as well, where you find that sleep apnea affects the brain lives on oxygen.
I see.
And of late, the science has come out and told us that early onset dementia can be progressed by having obstructive sleep apnea.
I see, doctor.
Yes.
Right. So, sorry to cut you off there, but we have a question from Esther. Actually, this is Newton first. I'll take from Newton first. Newton says, how do I avoid sleep paralysis? I'm a student in high school and I'm struggling with sleep paralysis.
Yes.
How can you do that? And then Esther had asked, can you please define sleep apnea one more time? Okay.
So let me define sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is repetitive interruptions of your breathing caused by obstruction in your throat, repetitive obstruction in your throat. So when you sleep, it just collapses multiple times at night.
Right.
So that is sleep apnea. And a lot of patients with sleep apnea snore, but not everyone who snores has sleep apnea.
Got you, that is clear.
Yes, and it has social and medical issues. I think that's to cover up for that sleep apnea.
Okay.
Sleep paralysis, the patients who have isolated sleep paralysis and others who have it as a condition called narcolepsy. And narcolepsy requires two things. It requires certain, as I said, it's very terrifying for patients. You require both medical help, you can get some pills that can help, as well as psychotherapy, what is called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. That really helps those patients as well.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
That together.
I hear you. Dr. Ian, thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate your time. We appreciate this information. As you've seen, it's very vital. Our viewers, have been, giving us their questions, their perspectives. We appreciate you so much for that. And, we'll have you back again, for more. But today, this is where we end, the show. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for coming in. Right.
Asante sana. And for all those people undiagnosed and treated, there are solutions available.
Of course,
Asante.
of course.
Yes.
You've told us, you've told us. Right, thank you so much for watching Morning Vibe. On Tuesdays, of course, mostly we'll be delving deeper on health and wellness. And this particular segment is called Wellness Wave. You know, that's why we'll be speaking about sleep apnea and other, you know, topics every other Tuesday on the Morning Vibe, right? So thank you so much for, you know, tuning in today. We appreciate you. We have loved your feedback. I have read as much as possible, but of course, you'll be seeing them on our socials, and we'll give Dr. Ian, you know, some of them, and he can be able to respond to you directly from his social media. But thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Remmy Majala. See you again tomorrow right here on Morning Vibe.